Only English people ask that question. Only English people. That was Gary Neville, exasperated, burying his face in his hands on the overlap. The question, where do you play Phil Foden? His co-host Jamie Carragher, a Liverpool legend who knows a thing or two about talented players, was not convinced. He hasn't done it for England. Stop saying, "Oh my God," every time I speak, Carragher fired back. Here is the paradox that defines Phil Foden. In 2024, he was crowned the Premier League Player of the Season. The best player in the best league in the world. Pep Guardiola calls him most talented player he has ever coached. At Manchester City, he glides past defenders like they are training cones. But for England, 0 goals, 0 assists. In his last 15 appearances for the national team, he has registered nothing. In May 2026, Thomas Tuchel did something that sent shockwaves through English football. He left Phil Foden out of the World Cup squad. The most gifted player of his generation, the man who was supposed to be the heir to David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne, was watching the biggest tournament of the year from his couch. This is not a story about a bad player. This is a story about systems, expectations, and the cruel mathematics of fitting a square peg into a round hole. This is the story of Phil Foden, the genius who can't seem to show it when it matters most. Here is what no one was talking about when Foden was left on the bench for most of the Euro 2024 group stages. He was not just frustrated, he was confused. Coming off last season being the best player in the Premier League and playing center midfield, I do feel the position was quite difficult to get used to, Foden admitted after the tournament. Under Gareth Southgate, England deployed him on the left wing, an unnatural position, a position where he had to hug the touchline, stay wide, and wait for the ball to come to him. That is not Phil Foden's game. Foden is a central creature. He wants to drift. He wants to pop up between the lines, receive the ball in half spaces, and combine with his full-back. At Manchester City, Kyle Walker or Rico Lewis bombs past him, opening up the inside channel. Foden slides in, picks up the ball, and creates. For England, the system did not allow it. It was frustrating at England, to be fair, he told GQ. Not to say that the players aren't good, but just coming off the back of the season I had, the form I was in, everything I was doing was coming off. So I'm not playing in the first 2 games even when the team was struggling. It was a bit like, why? That question, why, has followed him ever since. When England faced the Netherlands in the Euro 2024 semi-final, Foden produced his best performance of the tournament. He had a shot cleared off the line. He hit the post. He was a constant menace. And then Gareth Southgate substituted him. Eyebrows were raised, the BBC wrote. Foden had been one of England's prime creative forces in his best performance of the tournament. The manager was criticized for it, but the damage was done. Foden had been sent a message: even when you play well, you are not untouchable. To understand the Foden dilemma, you have to understand the numbers because they tell 2 completely different stories. At Manchester City, 2025-26 season, 41 appearances, 10 goals, 5 assists, 7 successful dribbles in attacking third, 55 key passes. For England, since Euro 2024, 0 goals, 0 assists, last 15 appearances. The gap is not small. It is a canyon. Thomas Tuchel, the new England manager, was brutally honest in March 2026 after a friendly defeat to Japan. Foden started as a false 9. He touched the ball fewer times than almost every other England starter. He was substituted at halftime. I would say he was excellent in camp, but yeah, he struggles to show it on the pitch, Tuchel said. By May 2026, the decision was made. Foden was left out of the World Cup squad entirely. But here is the kicker. When Tuchel was asked why, he pointed to Manchester City. In the final stages of the 2025-26 season, Foden was an unused substitute in both Champions League legs against Real Madrid. He played just 5 minutes from the bench in the title-deciding Premier League match against Arsenal. His club form had dipped, and his national team form had never really arrived. If we put attacking players on the pitch, we demand attacking actions, creativity, dribbling, shooting, assists, and we simply didn't do enough, Tuchel said. The manager was right. But the question remains, is it Foden's fault, or is it the system's fault? Let me take you back to the moment that defined Foden's reputation, the Premier League Player of the Season award in 2024. That season, he scored 19 goals and provided 8 assists. He was, by every measure, the best player in the best league in the world. His expected assists (XA) in the 2025-26 Premier League season sits at 0.33 per 90 minutes, a number that puts him in the 99th percentile of all players in the league. 99th percentile. That means he creates chances at a rate higher than 99 out of 100 players. His key passes? 2.37 per game, 98th percentile. His crosses? 5.05 per game, 94th percentile. The numbers are not just good, they are elite. Gary Neville, during his infamous argument with Carragher, made a radical suggestion. He believes Foden is as talented as Jude Bellingham. He thinks England should build the team around both of them in a central midfield three. Carragher was stunned. "What are you talking about? Absolute rubbish," he said. But Neville did not back down. He compared Foden's treatment to that of Paul Scholes, another genius who was shunted out wide to accommodate the big names of his generation. "Only English people ask that question," Neville repeated. And he is right. In Spain, if a player is the best in the league, he starts. In Germany, he starts. In France, he starts. Only in England do we spend years debating whether the Premier League player of the season should even be in the team. The 2024 out of 25 season was supposed to be Foden's coronation as England's main man. It did not happen. Instead, fans turned on him. After a run of 15 games without a goal or assist, the criticism was brutal. "Incredible player, but a total waste of space in an England shirt," one fan wrote. Another added, "We are seeing things similar to Gerard Lampschol's kind of thing here. You have to drop one of Foden, Palmer, or Jude if it's decided that he would play in an advanced position. Or else I don't think anyone would have enough space to do what they can." The comparison to the golden generation is telling. England had Scholes, Gerrard, and Lampard, three geniuses who could not play together. Now they have Foden, Bellingham, and Palmer, three geniuses who cannot play together. The SofaScore ratings for the 2025-26 season tell a revealing story. Player rating: goals, assists. Jude Bellingham, 7.18, 6, 4. Cole Palmer, 7.05, 10, 3. Phil Foden, 6.99, 10, 5. Morgan Rogers, 6.89, 10, 7. Foden is not bad, but he is not the standout. And when Bellingham plays, he demands the ball. When Palmer plays, he demands the ball. When Foden plays, he drifts. And drifting does not win you penalties in a shootout. This is where the story turns from football to something much darker. Because Foden's struggles on the pitch have been accompanied by something off it that no player should have to endure. In October 2025, fake news stories began circulating on social media. They claimed that one of Foden's children had died. Another claimed his 4-year-old daughter had cancer. The posts were accompanied by AI-generated images of Foden and his partner, Rebecca Cook, crying. They are completely false and very disturbing, Cook wrote on Instagram. "I don't understand how people can make up these things about anyone, especially children. It's sickening." Foden called in an army of legal specialists to hunt down the perpetrators. The abuse was not just online, it was deeply personal, targeting his family, his children, his most vulnerable points. How is a player supposed to focus on his football when his children are being targeted by AI-generated death hoaxes? The question is not rhetorical. It is central to understanding Foden's struggles. He is not a robot. He is a 25-year-old father of 3. And the weight of being England's most debated talent has come with a cost that no one talks about. The media narrative around Foden is relentless. The comparisons to Bellingham, the debates about his position, the criticism when he fails to perform. And now, the online abuse targeting his family. Is it any wonder that he looked lost on the pitch? May 2026. Phil Foden is not going to the World Cup. Thomas Tuchel made the decision. It was brutal, it was ruthless, and it was probably correct. In the 2025-26 season, Foden started only 4 of Manchester City's last 15 matches. His club form had dipped. His national team form had never arrived. I would say he was excellent in camp, but yeah, he struggles to show it on the pitch, Tuchel said. The words hung in the air. Struggles to show it. For a player of Foden's talent, there is no crueler verdict. But here is the twist. The player who replaced Foden in the England squad is Noni Madueke, a talented winger, but not a Premier League Player of the Year. The question that no one can answer is simple. Is the problem Phil Foden, or is the problem England? When he plays for Manchester City, he is untouchable. Pep Guardiola, the greatest tactical mind of his generation, has built a system where Foden can thrive. He drifts. He combines. He creates. For England, the system is different. The players are different. The understanding is different. Bellingham wants to occupy the same spaces. Palmer wants to occupy the same spaces. Saka wants to occupy the same spaces. For chefs cannot cook the same soup. And so, Foden is the odd man out. Not because he is the worst, but because he is the quietest. Here is what I want you to take away from this story. Phil Foden is 25 years old. He is not a failure. He is not a waste of space. He is a footballer who has been asked to solve a puzzle that no one has solved before him. Gary Neville was right about one thing. The English media treats creative players differently. We spend years lamenting the golden generation, Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes, and how they could not play together. Now we have Foden, Bellingham, and Palmer, and we are making the exact same mistakes. Only English people ask that question, Neville said. And he is right. The World Cup squad has been announced. Foden is not on it. Tuchel has made his choice. The tournament will go ahead without the Premier League Player of the Year. The question now is not whether Foden is talented enough. The question is whether England is willing to build a system that accommodates its best players, or whether Foden will become the latest genius to be sacrificed on the altar of tactical rigidity. I was one of the best players in the Premier League last year, Foden said. And I sat on the bench watching the group games while the team struggled. Why? No one has been able to answer that question. Not Southgate, not Tuchel, not the millions of fans who have watched him dominate for City and disappear for England. The only thing that is certain is this: Phil Foden is not a problem that can be solved by dropping him. He is a symptom of a deeper issue, an issue that England has never been able to fix. So here's my question to you. Was Thomas Tuchel right to leave Phil Foden out of the World Cup squad? Is Foden a system player who can adapt, or is England failing to build a system around its most gifted talents? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of football's most frustrating what-if stories, a player who dominates at club level but can't seem to unlock his international potential, subscribe to the channel for more stories from the beautiful game. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.